Hey everybody, Ross here, and this is Bible Study Superstar. If this is your first time on this channel, click here to go back to the intro, or if you'd like to see what's just been happening recently, click here to go back to Genesis 11. Now without further ado, I'm just going to jump right on into Genesis 12, verse 1. Now the Lord had said to Abram, "Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you, and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So Abram departed, as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. Then Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possessions that they had gathered, and the people whom they had acquired in Haran, and they departed to go to the land of Canaan. So they came to the land of Canaan. Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh, and the Canaanites were then in the land. Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your descendants I will give this land." And there he built an altar to the Lord, who had appeared to him. And he moved from there to the mountain east of Bethel, and he pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord, and called on the name of the Lord. So Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to dwell there, for the famine was severe in the land. And it came to pass, when he was close to entering Egypt, that he said to Sarai his wife, "Indeed, I know that you are a woman of beautiful countenance. Therefore it will happen, when the Egyptians see you, that they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but they will let you live. Please say that you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and that I may live because of you." So it was, when Abram came to Egypt, that the Egyptians saw the woman, that she was very beautiful. The princes of Pharaoh also saw her, and commended her to Pharaoh, and the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. He treated Abram well for her sake. He had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female servants, female donkeys, and camels. But the Lord plagued Pharaoh, and his house was great plagues, because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, "What is this you've done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she's my sister? I might have taken her as my wife. Now therefore, here is your wife. Take her and go your way." So Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, with his wife and all that he had. Alright, the chapter begins with God commanding Abram to leave his home and his family and to go to a place that God would show him. Abram's obedience took an incredible amount of faith for 4 reasons. Number 1, even though the lifespan of that day was averaging well over 100, Abram was still an old man at 75, and long travel could have been more difficult on him than in his younger days. Number 2, God was partially vague in his command by not telling Abram where he was going or and when. I think God did this to test Abram's faith and commitment to him. In the same way, God can be vague on certain details with us to see if we'll trust him and step out in faith. Number 3, God promised to do things that Abram knew was impossible under natural circumstances. Sarai was barren, so how could she have possibly given birth to this great nation without the divine power of God? This fact alone required a great deal of trust on Abram's part. And number 4, God promised that the whole world would be blessed by Abram's descendants. Abram probably had no idea at the time that God meant to bring Jesus, the Messiah and Savior of mankind, into the world through his line. This shows again that God doesn't always give us all the details of his plan, but we should nonetheless trust that God knows what he's doing and that his plans are designed for our good. Moving on. In verse 2, God promises to bless Abram and that he would then be a blessing. Notice the pattern. God would bless Abram, and Abram would bless others. God does not bless us solely for our benefit, even though we do get great benefit, but so that we can bless others in return. In other words, God gives to us so that we can give to others, whether it be with our talents, skills, God-given insight, experiences, time, or money. However God leads us to pass along his gifts. Moving on again. Why did Abram tell Sarai to pose as his sister when they got close to Egypt? Would the Egyptians really have killed him to take his wife, or was he simply being paranoid? I can't say. What I can say, though, is that even though Abram showed great faith and determination, he doubted that God would or could protect him from the Egyptians. When it came down to it, he had not given absolutely everything to God. We as Christians today are often guilty of this as well. Abram's deceit ended up bringing him great increase in wealth. Unfortunately, wickedness can still bring wealth like this today, but none of it is lasting because it's gained away from God. And finally, when Pharaoh discovered what Abram had done, he was horrified and immediately sent him and Sarai away, even with everything Pharaoh had already given them. This shows that either the Egyptians of Abram's day still feared God, this particular Pharaoh still feared God, or if they didn't fear God at all, they still had some sense of good moral character. Either way, the Pharaoh recognized God's judgment and quickly did what he had to do to remedy the situation. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, feedbacks, or suggestions, leave them below in the comments or as a video response. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you all soon in Genesis 13.